I am an old man from the countryside. I have never recorded a video, never sought attention, but if I remain silent now, many people will suffer later. God showed me that difficult times are coming, and He will not warn us again. Those who listen now can still sow seeds. Those who ignore Him will learn when it is too late. My name is Jose. I am an old man. I have lived in the countryside since I was a child. I have spent my entire life in the countryside sowing, harvesting, and caring for the land. I have never been one for much talk or boasting. That day, I got up early. As usual, I did what I had to do. I took care of my things, grabbed my hoe, and went to the fields. I worked all morning. The sun rose, and my body grew tired. I no longer have the strength I once did. By midday, I was completely exhausted. I stopped for a moment. I sat on the ground. I lay there in silence, staring at the earth. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just trying to rest. It was at that moment that everything changed. I didn't see anything different. I didn't hear voices. There was no noise. I simply stopped. I lay there, unable to get up. My body wouldn't respond. It wasn't pain. It wasn't dizziness. It was as if I had to stay there. While I sat there, things that weren't mine began to come to mind. I started seeing people struggling. I saw tables without food. I saw empty markets. I saw people not knowing what to do. It wasn't a dream. I was awake. It came to me clearly, like someone else's memory. Then I understood that God was speaking to me. It wasn't a long conversation. It was direct. God showed me that bad times are coming, times of scarcity, times when those who haven't prepared will suffer. He didn't speak of fear. He didn't speak of running away. He spoke of sowing. He spoke of the land. He spoke of simple food, food that grows easily, food that yields much, food that stores, food that produces seeds to sow again. After that, it passed. I managed to get up. I walked home slowly. I remained in complete silence for the rest of the day. I didn't tell anyone. That night I called my grandchildren. I spoke to them the way I know how. I told them that God had shown me something serious. I told them I needed to warn people. They listened in silence. Then they said they would help me record it because I don't know how to use these things. I'm speaking now because of this. I'm not a preacher. I'm not educated. I'm a man of the land. But what I saw I can't keep to myself. In the next few chapters, I will talk about the plants that God showed me. Simple plants, plants that save, plants that can sustain a family when things get tough. Whoever is listening now still has time. I want to say one thing. My faith is in Jesus Christ. He has sustained me all my life and sustains me to this day. I don't trust the government. I don't trust the system. I don't trust the market. I trust Christ. But true faith isn't about sitting still and waiting. Faith is about obedience. That's why I sowed. That's why I'm warning you. If you believe in Jesus, don't ignore this. Pray, trust, but sow. Teach your children. Teach your grandchildren. Let's continue. After that day, I thought a lot. I wasn't afraid. I was attentive. I began to see the farm differently. I began to remember the plants that always thrived, even in bad years. Plants that don't require much, that grow quickly, and that satisfy hunger. God didn't show me anything complicated. Everything was simple, things that people in the countryside already know. But many stopped planting because they thought the market would last forever. The first thing that thrived was zucchini. I've always planted it because it grows easily and doesn't require much work. You sow it and it grows. A single plant provides a lot of food. You can eat it green, you can let it grow, and you can store it. If you let it ripen properly, it can last for months stored in a dry place. You can even get seeds to replant. It's food and a plant for the future all at once. Whoever plants zucchini doesn't easily encounter difficulties. Then, God showed me the winter squash, the hardiest ones with thick skin. That's the one that withstands the cold. You harvest it, clean it, store it in a dry place, and use it little by little. It doesn't spoil easily. It fills you up, it sustains you, and when you live on potatoes and beans for a long time, it helps the body not to get sick. It's a plant that thinks about the future, not just the present. The potato also turned out well. Potatoes have always saved people. They grow even in poor soil. They give you energy to work. They fill your stomach. You can store them for months if you take good care of them, and there's no mystery to planting them. You save some small potatoes, cut them up, put them in the ground, and that's it. When almost everything else is scarce, potatoes sustain a person's life. Beans are no exception. Beans sustain, beans strengthen. They can be eaten green, dried, stored for a long time, and they even improve the soil for the next planting. Someone who plants beans doesn't depend on meat every day. A well-prepared plate of beans nourishes the body of a hard-working man. God was clear with me. It's not about planting pretty things for pictures. It's about planting what nourishes, what stores, what gives seeds, what sustains a family. In the next chapters, I'll talk about other plants that he showed me one by one in the simple way I learned in the fields. Whoever is listening now still has time to plant. After I began to understand what God had shown me, I stopped listening to so many outside conversations. I simply kept looking at the land. The earth speaks to us when we pay attention. It shows us what it can endure and what it cannot. It shows us what responds quickly and what takes too long. God didn't show me weak plants. He showed me things that grow even when the year is unfavorable. Plants that withstand the sun, withstand neglect, withstand the mistakes of those who don't know much, because when time is short, not everyone knows how to plant well. One of the things he reminded me of was the peas. Many people think it's nothing special, but it isn't. Peas sprout as quickly as the cold, and they only climb if they have something to cling to. They are among the first plants to provide food when almost nothing else has sprouted from the earth. You can eat them green, dry them, store them, and the seed you eat is the same one you sow later. You don't depend on a storehouse. You don't depend on anyone. A simple but very intelligent plant. Then came the tomato, but not just any tomato. The firmest and the most compact, the one that can be dried in the sun or turned into a thick sauce. Tomatoes are a great help when you're eating the same old thing. They add flavor, give you energy, and help your body fight off stress. And tomato seeds are easy to store. A good tomato will produce seeds for several years. Whoever plants tomatoes correctly always has a way to preserve them. God also reminded me of the sunflower. I myself have planted very little, but now I understand it better. Sunflowers produce strong seeds, seeds that fill up, that hold their shape, that have fat. Fat is something lacking when food is scarce. Sunflowers grow easily, they are tall and don't require much, and the seeds keep well. You can eat them, plant them, and exchange them with a neighbor if necessary. While all this was swirling around in my head, I understood something important. God wasn't just talking about food. He was talking about independence, about not waiting for a truck to arrive, about not depending on full shelves. Those who plant these simple things are calmer, sleep better, and don't despair easily. The earth soothes our hearts. That's why I'm saying all this slowly. It's not to scare you, it's to awaken you. Whoever has a plot of land, make use of it. Whoever has a small garden, make use of it too. Even a little helps. In the next chapter, I'll talk about how to combine these plants correctly, without confusion, so that a small plot can support an entire household when time is short. After all that God has shown me, I understood that it's pointless to plant randomly. It's not about throwing seeds around without thinking. The soil is good, but it needs order. I started to remember how my father did it. He never mixed everything up. Each thing had its place. Fast-growing plants were planted close together. Slow-growing plants were planted further away. That way, we don't get lost. When time is short, confusion is more of an obstacle than a lack of strength. A simple farm needs organization. God showed me that those with little space are not lost. A small backyard can solve many problems if planted correctly. Zucchini in a corner because they spread, peas climbing fences or wood, beans climbing the sides, tomatoes tied up tight, potatoes piled up or old vines, sunflowers in the background getting sun all day. It doesn't need to be pretty, it needs to work. Plants that compete for space cause problems later on. Everything in its place prevents waste. Another thing that became clear to me is that planting isn't just about the right season. Some people wait for the perfect moment. That moment almost never comes. Those who plant a little early learn. Those who make mistakes now get it right later. Those who wait too long miss the season. God didn't show haste, but decisiveness. Whoever starts today is already in a better position than whoever only thinks about tomorrow. The earth teaches while there's still time to learn. I also understood that saving is as important as planting. It doesn't make sense to harvest everything and use everything. You always have to separate the seed, separate the food for later. Separate what's for today from what's for next month. I learned this from life. Whoever eats everything one day, goes hungry the next. Whoever saves a little, sleeps more peacefully. God reminded me of this that day. Another thing that struck me was teaching the younger generations. I see many young people who don't know where food comes from. They think it grows in the market. When the market fails, they're lost. That's why I called my grandchildren. It wasn't just to document, it was also to learn. They need to know how to plant, harvest, and store. This isn't about falling behind, this is about protection. Simple knowledge saves the whole family. All of this I'm saying isn't my own invention, it's old news, things that worked when nothing was easy. God simply reminded me of what I had forgotten. In the next chapter, I'll talk about mistakes that many people will make in these difficult times, mistakes that seem small now but later turn into suffering. Those who listen in advance avoid unnecessary pain. The biggest mistake I see people make is procrastination. They listen, they agree, but they do nothing. They say they'll plant when they have time, when they have money, when they feel better. But the fields don't wait for your will. Those who wait too long miss the season. Then they complain that the plant didn't thrive. It wasn't the plant that failed, it was the decision that came too late. God showed me this clearly. Those who start early make few mistakes when time is of the essence. Another mistake is planting things that won't sustain you. Some people fill their gardens with fragile, pretty plants that don't fill their stomachs, plants that yield little, spoil quickly, and don't keep well. When scarcity arrives, these plants don't solve the problem. The person is left with a field full of plants and an empty pot. That's why God insisted that I plant simple plants, potatoes, beans, squash, peas, things that sustain, that keep well, that save the day when there's nothing else. I also saw the mistake of not saving seeds. People harvest everything, eat everything, and sell everything. The following year, they have to buy seeds again, and if there aren't enough to buy, and if they're too expensive, then it's all over. Those who didn't save seeds become dependent. Seeds are freedom, they are the future, they are a guarantee. God made me understand that saving seeds is as important as saving food. One goes hand in hand with the other. Another big mistake is thinking that planting is something only older people do. I hear it far too often. Young people think they don't. 2690. It's for them that it's outdated, that they don't need to learn, but when difficulties arise, nobody is born knowing how to plant. You learn through pain, you learn through hunger. I wish my grandchildren had learned earlier. That's why I speak now, so that others can learn without having to suffer. Some people also make the mistake of thinking that planting is a lack of faith, as if planting were doubting God. That's not true. True faith goes hand in hand with action. God never commanded anyone to sit idly by waiting for a miracle. He always commanded us to plant, to work, to plow. It has been this way from the beginning. Those who understand this do not fall into spiritual confusion. I speak of these errors because there is still time to avoid them. There is still soil, there is still seed, there is still time. In the next chapter, I will conclude this message by saying what God made me feel at the end of that vision. A simple word, but He was serious. God didn't leave me with fear, but with responsibility. I understood that the warning wasn't about choosing who was better or worse. It was about giving a chance to prepare, a chance to learn before the pain. I felt that many people would remember these words when things got tough. Some will remember them too late, others will remember them with time. That's why I agreed to speak, even though I felt uncomfortable. even though I don't like being in front of the camera, because to remain silent would be disobedience. I know some will laugh. There always are. Some will say that this has happened before and that nothing has changed. I've heard that too, but the earth doesn't lie, the weather doesn't lie, the market doesn't lie. When one thing after another starts to fail, it's not by chance. God showed me that difficulties don't arrive all at once, they come little by little. First, things get more expensive, then there's scarcity, then it becomes confusing. By the time a person realizes this, they're already too dependent on things they can't control. Another thing God helped me understand is that not everyone is going to plant a large field, and that's not necessary. A little makes a big difference. A well-tended garden already helps. A sack of potatoes can feed a family for a while. A handful of stored beans prevents despair. We don't need to become experts, we just need to start. The land responds to those who respect it. It doesn't need to be perfect, you just have to do it. I also felt very strongly that this isn't just for those who live in the countryside. Many people think that way, and they're wrong. City dwellers can also plant in yards, in pots, in small plots. Saying you don't have space is no excuse, always. Hay algun rincon, el problema casi nunca es la falta de tierra, es la falta de decisión. Dios me mostró que quienes empiezan con poco aprenden a lo grande, al disresto. Pensó en mis nietos, pensó en su futuro. No quiero que aprendan estas cosas con hambre, quiero que aprendan con calma, con las manos en la tierra. Con pequeños errores ahora, no grandes errores después, sean hijos, nietos, personas que dependen de él. Ustedes piensan en esto, sembra no es solo para hoy, es para los que vendrán. Al final de esa visión no hubo más palabras largas, solo una tranquila certeza me invadió. Hay tiempo, no mucho, pero hay tiempo. Consescution ahora pueden organizarse. Consescution después se apresurarán a ponerse al día. No estoy aquí para dar órdenes, estoy aquí para advertir. Cada uno decide que hacer con esto. Concluyó diciendo lo que siempre ha guiado mi vida, mi fe está en Jesucristo, él me sostuvo en la abundancia y en las escasez. Confío en él, pero también obedezco, por obediencia que sembra. Por obediencia que God, por obediencia que habla. Si crees en Cristo, no ignores esta advertencia. Ora, confía, pero siembra, enzana, prepara, que Dios bendiga tu hogar white de sabiduría en el nombre de Jesus. Prepara tu hogar, si este mensaje conmovió, quédate aquí, siglo y compartlo con tus seres queridos, que / Dios prota en el nombre de Jesus.